Living Faith TV.
And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. Today we are going to make a super easy and super delicious meal. It's one of my boys' favorite. Austin and Aaron both love this meal, and it couldn't be simpler because we're going to use one of my favorite tools in the kitchen, and that is a crock pot. I know that many of you have busy schedules, much like I do, and I rely on my crock pot 2 to 3 meals a week during the school year, especially, or in the wintertime. When I get home, we've got homework. If your schedule's like mine, my boys are busy. They've got homework that requires my supervision, and I don't have a lot of time in the evenings to fix a meal for my family, so I do rely on my crock pot a whole lot. So many of you have emailed me or Facebook messaged me in different ways that you'll get your messages to me. Say, more crock pot recipes, please. So this is one of our favorites. What I have here are boneless ribs. Love, love, love ribs, but to do them on the grill, on the bone, takes forever, and I don't have that kind of time, and if it's wintertime, it's too cold to be outside. So these are boneless ribs, which are wonderful. Buy them in any grocery store. So this is 2 packages because let me tell you, I have 2 teenage boys who can scarf this down in no time flat. And if there are any leftovers, and I try to plan ahead to make sure that there are, they like to take them for their lunch the next day. So I always make sure that I have plenty because they do have access to a microwave at school to warm their leftovers. So I always try to make sure that I have plenty. So I do 2 racks of ribs, just layer them in the crock pot, and I put salt and pepper on them. And I have to thank my friend Rebecca for this recipe because she told me she had cooked it one day, and I'm like, I think I'll try that. It was wonderful. So it's now become one of our favorites in our home. This is some brown sugar just straight out of the pantry, and I just sprinkle over top of the ribs, probably total about, I don't know, 1/4 of a cup or so. Just sprinkle as much or as little as you like. And I have done this at home with the Splenda brown sugar blend. For those of you that may be needing to watch your sugar intake, the brown sugar Splenda works beautifully in this. Prepared barbecue sauce, your favorite. Just put some over top. This is a big bottle, so I'm only going to use about half. But if you have the small bottles of prepared barbecue sauce, use the whole thing. I'm just going to use half and keep the rest for something else. Now, you can, if you want to, put the lid on it on low, 8 hours, delicious. But we're going to make a complete meal in one. Pay attention. Aluminum foil. I'm just going to put a sheet down over top of the ribs. And I've got some baking potatoes that I have scrubbed. I'm going to wrap each one in foil and put it on top. Now, is this brilliant or what? You're getting your potatoes baked while your main course is cooking. Potatoes in the oven take hours, but you can put them on top of this on low for 8 hours or so. And there you go. Your potatoes are baked at the same time. Brilliant. So for you busy people out there, or those of you that just want to have a good meal and don't want to spend hours doing it, there you go. Put your lid on it on low for like 8 hours. I love this crock pot because it locks, and I like to do that. Seal it in. Done. Just wait on it. Now, could that be any easier? I don't think so. On low, my setting has warm, low, and high, and I do it on low. If you want to do it on high, 4 to 5 hours on high, but I like the low setting for this because it's a slower cooking, and it lets the juices of the pork come out and mix with the barbecue sauce and the brown sugar and the salt and pepper and makes this wonderful, wonderful sauce. So I'm going to do mine on low for about 8 hours. And that's it. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm just going to get ready, and we're going to start on our next course, which is going to be dessert. I'll be back in just a minute. And welcome back. Now, our beautiful pork ribs and our baked potatoes are cooking. We're going to start on dessert. Now, I need the zest of this lemon for the quick zucchini saute. So we're going to go ahead and zest the lemon. But I'm going to use the juice in this. So I'm going to zest it first because you always want to make sure you zest your fruit before you juice it, because it is nearly impossible to do this after you've squeezed a lemon or an orange or whatever you're using. If you don't have one of these little tools, I want to encourage you to get one because they really are very, very convenient in the kitchen for zesting and grating chocolate or onions or garlic or whatever you're grating. It's a wonderful little tool. It's called a rasp or a microplane zester. And I'm going to put my zest in this little cup because I need that for the next recipe. But I need the juice in this recipe. So there you go. We're ready to go. Now, we're going to make dessert. I am huge on getting fruit in the desserts. Anytime you can make something more, sweet, if you will, for a dessert, you're going to get fruit in your family. Now, I'm going to start out with some apples. And I've got a bunch of beautiful red apples. This is how I core my apples. One of the ways that I core my apples is just cut around it. That one's got a few little seeds in there. I didn't quite get that one far enough out, so let me cut out those seeds. You can use really any kind of fruit that you like. I'm choosing apples and bananas and grapes today, but maybe you like kiwi, or you could do this with oranges. You could do it with anything that you want, but I'm choosing the apples, bananas, and grapes. And the juice that I'm going to take out of that lemon is going to help the apple and the banana from turning brown. So we're going to chew, this is what we're doing. Now I'm using, this is a Red Delicious apple, and I don't peel mine. If you are one that likes to peel your apples, go right ahead, but I scrub them. I like to buy organic apples if I can, because I do like to eat the peeling on the apple, because that's really a lot of fiber and a lot of flavor. And your nutrients in an apple lie right under the skin, in most fruit actually. A lot of the nutrients lie right underneath the skin. And I want it to be bite-sized chunks, so I just cut it into planks and then turn it sideways. Work on a big board. A good cutting board is really a good investment in your kitchen, because you can have it for years if you take care of it. This board right here I've had for, I guess, 7 or 8 years. I take care of it and I love it, and it's a wonderful cutting board. I like a big board, and I like wooden cutting boards for most things. I don't use fresh meat on my boards. If you've noticed before, when I had the ribs, I have the little plastic disposable or washable boards for my meat products, because I don't like to put the meat on my board. But man, I don't think I could cook without a good cutting board. Keep it right next to your stove or your sink. If you want to You keep it next to your sink, and then you got an instant transport over to the stove. I think that's probably enough apples. Save the banana for last. Now these are just some seedless grapes that I bought at the store. I love grapes. And let me tell you what I do at home oftentimes when I go grocery shopping. Now I'm a planner. Most of the time I try to plan my meals for the week. I get out my calendar and I look at what's ahead schedule-wise for all four of us, and I, will put doctor appointment or, late day here or whatever I've got going on. And then I plan my meals for the week accordingly, and I try to plan meals that I will have leftovers so that my boys can take it to school or that I can bring it to work. It's a lot more economical and a lot healthier for you if you do that. Now I'm just going to cut these grapes in half. But when I go to the grocery store and I buy a big box of grapes or something like that, then I will go ahead and wash it and get little individual baggies and portion size it out. And that way it is ready to go. When you want something healthy to eat, it's ready to go. So that's a neat little trick for you if you want to just go ahead and wash your grapes and put them in individual serving size bags. Then it's ready to go when you are. We're just cutting up this fruit and tossing it in here. You could add some blueberries, you could add some raspberries, you could add blackberries, you could add strawberries, you could add whatever you wanted. Go to the store and look at what looks good that day at your grocery store, and that's what you want to buy. Whatever looks good in the store is what you want to buy to put in your fruit salad for that week. And then I've got a banana. I love bananas. They're so healthy and so good for you. And I'm going to cut him in half, I think, and then just cut pieces. Now, we've got our fruit in there. Now that fruit, if I didn't do something, would turn brown. So what I'm going to do before I stir it up, and I don't have my little strainer out here, so I'm going to have to use my hand to catch my seeds. I'm going to squeeze the lemon, catch the seeds in my fingers. And then I'll toss the fruit with that lemon, and that will help it from turning brown. And then we're going to make the dressing part of this salad, the good, oh, so good, the dressing for it, and add in all of our other deliciousness. Now, that in it alone is wonderful. But we're going to add some candy. Remember, this is our dessert. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. But I'm going to add, and I found these little bite-sized pieces, I'm going to eat one, of my favorite candy bar. I'm going to add them in. Save a couple of those for crunching a little later. So good. Stir those in. Any kind of candy bar that you like will work. That'll get your kids eating the fruit. If you have a problem with your children wanting to eat fruit, put some candy in it once in a while. That's okay. I have one container of the frozen non-dairy whipped topping and one container of coconut cream instant pudding. And I'm going to use my whisk, and I'm going to combine those two things. You could use a mixer if you wanted to. I'm just going to use a whisk just to kind of stir that all together. And that just adds some flavor. Oh, so good. I'm going to lick that after a while. And then I'm going to stir in a little bit of coconut. If you don't like coconut, you can leave it out. I happen to adore coconut. Just a little bit of shredded coconut adds another layer of flavor. Then I'm going to switch to my little spatula here. Now I'm going to toss the fruit. I'm going to actually toss it in this big bowl because I want to keep my serving dish looking very nice. I'm going to toss the fruit with that. Just kind of fold it in. I'm making a mess. Just fold it in there. To fold something, you go around the edge and then cut through the middle. Just a light coating is all it's going to be. That's good enough. So good. And then put it back in your pretty serving bowl. If you can do it without making a mess, I hope I can. And that's not all. We're going to decorate it up even more. Just a second. Get all that out of there, all that deliciousness. Oh, so good. Then we're going to take some caramel ice cream topping and just drizzle over top. Now this is the kind that pours very easily. If you have one that doesn't pour easy, maybe it's in the jar, you can microwave it for just a few seconds just to get it nice and liquidy to where you can pour it. And then if you want, and I do, I'm going to top it with just a few peanuts. You could use almonds, you could use pecans, you could use any kind of nut you want it to. And there you go. There is a quick, easy, delicious dessert for your family. I'm going to take a quick break, clean this up. When I come back, we're going to finish up with a quick and easy zucchini saute, and then we're going to eat. I'll be back in just a second.
Daddy misses us too, honey.
He called her on the road.
Hi, honey.
From a lonely, cold hotel room, just to hear her say, I love you one more time. A little voice came on the phone and said, Daddy, when you come home. He said the first thing that came to his mind,
I'm already there.
I'm already there. Take a look around. I'm the sunshine in your hair. I'm the shadow on the ground. I'm the whisper in the wind. I'm your imaginary friend. And I know I'm in your prayers. Oh, I'm already there.
Hey, buddy. Being there. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Give a little love, have a little hope, make this world a little better.
Every day is so wonderful, and suddenly it's hard to breathe.
Would it be okay if I sat here? Is she serious?
It's beautiful.
Whatever. New girl.
Sing away. These words can't bring me down.
Reaching out. Pass it on.
So don't you bring me
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
right, now our ribs and our potatoes are done. Our dessert is done. Let's start on an easy side dish. We need something green. And I love zucchini, so I chose to do just a quick and easy sauteed zucchini. It really is very, very simple. Now these are small zucchini. If you've got a big one, you need to probably cut it in half, but these are small, so I'm just going to cut it into coins. I've got my non-stick skillet preheating over medium-high heat. This takes literally 5 minutes, start to finish. So you could do this after you got home from soccer practice or football practice or work or whatever you do in the evenings. The gym, go work out and then come home to that dessert. I love zucchini. It's good and easy to fix. Again, I scrubbed it to make sure that, the ends are good. And I've got some spring onions that we're going to chop up in just a second. I'm going to add just a little bit, a couple of tablespoons of, you could use olive oil or canola or vegetable oil, whatever you want. To get your oil hot before you add your zucchini. And then we'll saute that. Let's go ahead and cut the ends off my little scallions. If you don't have scallions, don't worry about it. You could use a small onion if you wanted to. I cut the little fuzzy ends off. And I don't want all that green, so I'm going to cut off some of the green. Leave a little tiny bit, but not much. And I find these little paring knives are great to cut up the little scallion. Again, you could use a little small onion if you wanted to. I think that's probably enough. I don't want to overdo. This is primarily a zucchini flavor. Now, we're going to add our zucchini to our pan. Just a quick saute. You need that pan hot. In fact, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. Hear the sizzle. Don't overcrowd it. If you need to do it in 2 batches, that's okay. Because if you overcrowd it, you're not going to get the golden caramelization. Be careful if you do what I'm doing, which is called using your finger. I'm going to do mine in 2 batches because I want to get that golden caramelization on the zucchini. Now, I am not going to add salt at this point because if I added salt to that, it's going to draw out the moisture of the zucchini and it won't get brown. I'm not going to salt it until the end, but I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of cracked pepper. I keep my little dish, I love fresh ground pepper. What I do is buy whole peppercorns, and then I have it's actually a little coffee grinder, but I use it exclusively for spices. And if I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking, I go ahead and grind up my own pepper and keep it in a little dish. That's a little hint for you to keep by your stove. Or you can use the pepper mill, either one you want to do. I just am not a fan of those pre-ground tins of pepper. There's a big difference in the flavor. So I urge you to get, even they make the little disposable, the fresh grinders, I urge you to get one, at least. Sometimes they're $1 at the store. They're just little disposable grinders, but big difference in the flavor. Now we're just going to saute this. I'm going to add about half of my lemon, because I'm going to do it in 2 batches, remember. That's just going to perfume it, and about half my onions. And we're just going to saute this quickly until it's good and golden brown. All right, now our zucchini is done. That's what I'm talking about. See that golden brown look? That's what you want. It takes literally about 2 minutes per side. Just flip it over, and there you go. It's done. So let me show you. Here are our potatoes. Let's get our potatoes out from the top of our delicious meat. Cook as many potatoes as you need or can fit in your crock pot. And then be careful, it's hot. Take the foil off. So good, it smells so good. My boys would be lined up with their plates. And the meat is so tender, it just falls apart. So let me get And it's cooked, so I don't care to put it out on my board. I just don't put raw meat out there. Oh, so good. A little messy. And you can serve it either like this, or let me tell you what you can do. You can shred this, put it back, stir it in with the sauce, and do sandwiches with it. If you wanted to do like a barbecue sandwich, you could do that. But that's not what we're going to do today. We are going to just serve it, because see, it just falls apart. It's ribs, it's rib meat. It just falls apart. So good, tender, juicy, delicious. So you just put that on your plate. Spoon a little extra sauce over it if you want to. And I think I do. Get you a little ladle, your sauce. Remember, that's your barbecue and your brown sugar and the juices from the pork. And then one of your potatoes. Now, is that not ingenious to cook a baked potato that way? It just is so easy. And cut your potato in to 2 pieces, you know, in half. Let me get the right kind of knife here. And your potato is done. It's absorbed some of the flavors from the pork. It's just delicious. And then salt, pepper, and butter on your potatoes. You've got your zucchini, and you are done. Get you a little butter on your potato. It's hot. A little salt and a little pepper. And then your zucchini for your green. And there you go. A wonderful, easy, quick